everyone! Today we're going over the customs featured in Mutated Monstrosities Part 3. You'll notice there isn't as many as my previous toy films, but I'll get into that. First I want to talk about a bit of kind of the making of it, and kind of the tricks I tried to pull off with Predator X, I call him. So, with a lot of my toy films, a lot of like the dinosaurs or the big bad ones. I mean, I don't know if you can call them big bad, just since it's supposed to be like a nature documentary kind of style. So I had tried. So I've read about the making of Jaws, and it was really cool, and how the music and just seeing like a glimpse of the fin or the tail, just something like that, was more unsettling than like just a full-on animatronic shark leaping out of the water and like killing a person. So I kind of tried to do that same logic for the first half, and actually by no means was I intending for it to be 22 minutes long. I was only intending for it to be like 15 minutes. That's about it. But it ended up being longer because I had a bit more of a story to tell. And so some of you were remarking how the jump scare at the end, where when he gets first revealed, some were saying didn't really startle them. Some were like kind of expecting it. Others were a little bit frightened. In my poll I made on how would you rate it, I have yet to get a vote for heart attack. So the most I've gotten is the holy cow. So it's been somewhat effective, I guess. So kind of what I was doing there is just like Jaws. When you think, whenever you expect to see it or just a glimpse of it, you expect the music, you'll hear the heavy breathing. And so my thought process was, when you don't hear the heavy breathing and you see you don't see a glimpse of its tail, you don't think anything of it. You just think nothing's gonna happen. And so I was hoping that when I played that music where it's like that'd be somewhat effective. But it seems like it did not affect a lot of you, but some were affected, so I don't know. Okay, as for my custom itself, I made this guy kind of a while ago, and I did actually show a picture of him in I made a post about like if I were to do Mutated Monstrosities Part 3, I'd include this guy. However, in that picture, he did not have any green stripes or the green underbelly, nor did he have the green tipped claws. He was just black with like red stripes. And I was kind of, somebody did guess him, so I was kind of trying to throw you guys off. I obviously blurred him, and so someone thought it was the Sugamimus because it had similar colors to that custom. And so since this is a hybrid, I did not use any I didn't have any sounds for him, so I just used Indoraptor sounds, which I think also kind of threw some of you guys off. And yes, so that's kind of about like a little bit of the making into that. And so the reason there isn't as many customs to go over is mainly because I don't really have I don't really have as many customs to showcase in. If I were to do Mutated Monstrosities Part 4, there would not be any new customs at all. It would just be like older stuff. Most of the customs you see in the Mutated Monstrosities series, I made a while back, just haven't really showed them much on my channel, and I just maybe updated them a little, like adding the green onto Predator X, something like that. So I think Mutated Monstrosities Part 4 is probably going to be my last part. I don't think I will do a Part 4. I think a trilogy is enough. Maybe I'll like make the D-Rex appear in another toy film. Maybe not in a Mutated Monstrosities film, but maybe I'll make some of these guys like appear in some other films. Okay, so getting to my actual customs here instead of me just yapping. So with this guy, he actually used to be a Kids Galaxy Irritator figure. You can still see the screw holes I filled in with glue. And I always thought the Irritator looked really funky. His head was not the right shape. It was like way too Velociraptor-like. And the dew claw on him, the toe claw, that was all me. So at one point when I was younger, I was playing with him outside in the snow, and we had this old, rusty, like ice scraper. I don't know if you guys have seen them before. And I dropped him on it, and his one poor toe got shaved off by the thing. I couldn't find it to glue it back on. And so he had only had 2 toes on the one. And so when I was making this custom a while ago, I thought, hey, what if I gave him raptor claws? It would make sense too, because his head doesn't really look like an irritator. I don't know why was I calling it Ichthyovenator? I think I was, my bad. You'll notice he does have a pair of horns. I added that just for like more so dramatic. He could, if I didn't include the horns, he could have easily been a raptor irritator hybrid. However, I felt that wouldn't really be enough, and so I added the horns, which so originally he was just all black with some red stripes, but I did include a lot of green when I updated him. Yeah, so I hoped he was somewhat effective with like tense-wise, I guess, but in all fairness, it's a toy film. I am not a professional movie maker, as much as people claim I am. I am not. I am a random 13-year-old who makes custom dinosaurs and does stuff like that. So, yeah. Alright. The Predator X. Yeah, I was going to call him Carnoraptor originally, but I forgot that name was already taken. So I'm like, what's something simple, easy to say? Predator X. So I just called him that. Alright, we have one of my Atrociraptors, which this guy, oopsies, was featured in one of my other toy films. The, like, one, I think it was part 2, with the T-Rexes. He was in there. However, I felt like he didn't really have much screen time. Same with his pack mate. So I gave him a bit of a part in part 3, as you can see. Yeah, this is kind of based off of the canceled Jurassic Park Chaos Effect line. A lot of these bright colored ones are based off of that line. Here's the more normal raptor. I'm pretty sure this is Tiger, I want to say. But yeah, this custom looks really good. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. Again, I did make him a while ago. So, and here's the Charlie Brown Raptor. I know it's kind of silly hearing me, it was pretty silly calling him that. However, I called him that because when I first made this custom, my parents were like, oh, that's cool. Looks like Charlie Brown. I'm like, oh my god, it does look like Charlie Brown. So the name just kind of stuck. And again, I haven't really showcased him too much on this channel, and I figured I'd show him. I used to have some other raptors I want to say I painted at one point, but I don't know where they went. I think I either got rid of them at some point, or they might have just gotten lost somewhere. I don't know where they went, so I just had to use a generic raptor also. We have the Giganosaurus, which has been brutally scratched upon. And this is another repaint I did a while back. However, I want to say, yeah, he used to be like bright green originally. And I'm glad I could include him, because I really wanted him to have some of a part in one of my toy films. And yeah, so he's a pretty fun one. I do wish I could have included him just a tad more in part 3. But I mean, I'm sure I'll include him in some other projects eventually. Of course, we have the Lost World Pachycephalosaurus repaint, which I made a video dedicated to him, so I'm not really going to go over him. But we do have this feathered T-Rex. Now, I made this one actually fairly recently, I want to say. It's just like about a month ago, I want to say. I found him at a thrift store. And I thought he was cool. He used to be like red and yellow. And I thought, hey, I might as well paint him. So in my original picture, you'll notice he did not have that gray on him. When I first painted him, I thought he was missing something, but I didn't know what. But I now realize he needed some like dry brushing. So that's what I added. Again, I do wish I could have included him just a touch more in part 3. But I mean, it's okay. And of course, I couldn't have myself saying, oh, this is just a normal wacky color T-Rex. Of course, it had to be a mutant one because of his weird head shape. Another thing I wanted to mention is that throughout the toy film, you'll notice that I don't use any music until it's him approaching. Like, you'll notice when, like, the raptors are attacking or something, or this guy is attacking the Protoceratops. There was no music. It was just dinosaur roars. But once Predator X, like, appears, or just a glimpse of him, you'll notice that then the music starts playing. So I was kind of trying to, like, just like Spielberg did, I was reading about, just subconsciously, like, letting you know that it's there and it's present. Actually, one of the scenes in Jaws, two kids are pranking everyone with a fake shark fin, and you think the shark's there, but subconsciously you know there's no music, so there's no shark, and it proves to be true when there's no music. So yeah, so that's kind of all I have for this video. Again, there wasn't as many customs. I don't think I will make more. Actually, when I made a lot of these guys a while ago, I wasn't pleased with them because I wasn't sure what project I'd even use them in because they didn't have any normal colors. Of course, now I found a use for them, but honestly, I don't really want to paint any more wacky colored ones. I've gotten my use out of them, and I have, like, no need to paint more like that. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.